Veteran master pastry chef Gert Sorensen has, over a long career, worked at the Savoy Hotel in London and the Atlantic Hotel in Hamburg. He's taught pastry for 28 years at a Copenhagen hotel and restaurant school, as well as being caterer for the royal family.
Growing up, my father was a renowned pastry chef, known all over Europe for confectionery feats like the Guinness Book of Records tallest wedding cake, or being the pastry chef to the royal family. In the sea of amazing dishes and wonderful conversations that we've been a part of, it occurred to me we haven't really stretched into the territory of pastries. Having spent the first part of my life in a pastry shop, cakes and sweets hold a special place in my heart. Waking up early in the morning to roll out the dough, almond paste and cake batter. They all bring me back in time. Ultimately, I chose the hot kitchen over the life of a pastry chef, but the lessons I learned making them made it inevitable that I would find myself looking for that old connection here in St. Louis. As a chef, I need to stay curious in order to evolve. For me, that means looking beyond a great meal to learn more about who made it and what inspires them to cook. Every great city has great food. I'm going on a journey around the world right here in St. Louis to find good food and experience other cultures. I'm on a quest to find passionate chefs who cooks from the heart. Because food is love.
It's gonna be delicious.
Food is love. Love your food. All around the world, culture shares the morning tradition of coffee and some sort of pastry. In Denmark, we ate Berliners. In New Orleans, they have beignets. If you're in Paris, it could be a croissant. I can go on all day. Generally speaking, donuts are a crowd favorite in America. But where do they fall in the scheme of things? Are they not a pastry as well? For the sake of argument and differentiation, I'm visiting Vincent Van Doughnut to learn more about where donuts come from. This is Vincent Marston. His obsession with donuts has led him into a life of stretching dough and the boundaries of donut flavors. He has agreed to condense his knowledge into a quick lesson in donut making. I grew up, in a little town where we went to the baker and we got donuts in the morning. They were called Berliners.
Yeah, sure.
Two of us, if we were eating a donut, the idea is you try to eat that donut without licking your lips. Your brain automatically want to swipe the sugar off of your lips.
That's
the test of if you have total control over your body.
It sounds like a good challenge.
Yeah, it's a great donut challenge.
That's good.
My dad had a pastry shop. We had like 700 people every day, and they made all different kinds of pastries.
Holy cow. I mean, I'm sure you've made donuts.
No, and this is why we're here. Of all the things I've ever learned, I've never learned how to make donuts. I've never made donuts. We never had a fryer.
So we don't crack our eggs either. We use liquid eggs.
Okay.
So
that's the liquid base of a donut is
eggs and water. There is water.
Okay.
Yeah. Granulated sugar, the same stuff that's on your Berliners. A milk replacer, which is basically whey protein. For a warm spice, we do add nutmeg. The fat we use is an all-purpose shortening, so it's a vegetable shortening. The idea for donuts is you have to put enough fat inside the donut, so when you drop it in the oil, it rejects the fat on the outside. That's why temperature is very important, and so is your fat content. Salt. We use just a regular old table salt. This is bread flour. It's a higher protein bread flour. We'll go ahead and we'll add this dry ingredient with the fat here, and then our yeast. So I use a SAF Instant. We started with the 1960 Grumman Olsen step van. My brother had a restaurant at the time too, so I was able to use his restaurant as a commissary.
Okay.
And I figured that was a recoupable investment if it didn't work.
Yeah.
Kind of a market test type thing, but it did work. The one thing that I wanted to do was be unique and do something different. So we do everything from scratch. And we had purveyors that tried to sell us on bag mixes and that type of stuff to make it easy. And that's tempting, but that's honestly what everyone else is doing. But if we can make it, lemon curds, a lot of the fillings, the doughs, we do a chocolate sour cream old fashioned, a vanilla sour cream old fashioned, we do our yeast dough, we do our vegan dough, all that stuff is from scratch. And that's what we pride ourselves on and what separates us. And we do 20 different flavors a day. and this display up here, and once those are gone, they're gone.
So it's almost like what you're doing is craft donut, because 20, 30 years ago, a donut was just a donut.
That's what it
there
was.
was nothing there.
Right.
And now everybody is getting excited about donuts because we are mixing all these different flares and flavors. And
so it's fun. The pastry stuff, like your father and you, the artistry behind it.
I mean, it's an experience to eat a donut. It's not just a donut with your coffee.
Absolutely. Well, and you can still have that. There's nothing wrong with those classics either. Those very traditional, original, just the vanilla glazed, or even some people even request just a plain old sour cream old fashioned with no glaze. Cake donut, those are the old schoolers that like to dunk it in their coffee, and they don't want the sugar, they don't want all that stuff. So that's when it becomes, I've been vertically challenged my whole life and getting that thing up on the on the bench. So there's our dough. I don't mess with it. When it comes out, sometimes you'll see people kneading it. It's already done that for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So I try not to disturb it too much. So once it gets on the bench, I just dump it out and then I'll start rolling. Again, what we do, I mean, you're stretching. You're not wanting to push from one side because then you're pushing everything one way. You're pulling the dough. So we always go from the center out.